Hey, beings. You are listening to the Self-Tivity Podcast. I am your host, Dani, your self-investment storyteller. Today's episode features a special guest who will be a valuable participant in our Being to Being Self-Tivity segments. The Being to Being segments are a fun way to connect with beings who are open-minded, enjoys thought-provoking questions, and perspective-shifting concepts. I also invite entrepreneurs and business owners who have a thought, product, or service that contributes to our self-investment journey in the areas of personal growth, mindset, well-being, entrepreneurship, and or financial empowerment. Guests will participate in our Being to Being Self-Tivities bi-weekly, so be sure to follow so you don't miss out on all the fun. Let's find out who's on today and what self-tivity experience they will present to us.
Are you ready? 'Cause I am.
Welcome to Dani Dividends, a segment on the channel where guests participate in self-tivity games and assignments, and you, the listeners, intentionally practice a self-investment habit. Dani Dividends is inspired by the concept of TED Talk, but with a little twist. TED Talk requires the stage, but Dani Dividends is right here in the podcast world. In the financial world, we know a dividend to be a share of a company's profit distributed to shareholders. For Dani Dividends, consider the business as a being who has invested in a particular topic or subject or journey in their life. They are going to share to anyone who finds value a piece of their mind in the good way. You, as the listeners, will listen with intent and write down if there was anything of value from this being to being connection. Pose the question to yourself: do I find value or profit from this experience? If not, take note of why. If so, take note of why. The purpose is for us all to be present and aware of our interaction with other beings and our interaction with other thoughts from other beings. My guest today is Skye Barbour. Skye is an international business coach and best-selling author. Today, she will share with us how leadership can change your life and teach you how to get more freedom as a business owner. Last week, we had a participant provide an impromptu speech. This week, we have a prepared speech. Fun! Skye Barbour, welcome to the Self-Tivity stage for an experience of Dani Dividends. This is your time. 7 minutes on the clock.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself the question: why did you start, or why do you want to start your business? I'm going to hazard a guess. It is something to do with freedom and flexibility. So I'm going to talk to you for 7 minutes about how to grow a business for freedom, because this is what I see. 60% in the UK of small businesses fail by the year 3, and business owners give up. We start this business wanting a life of freedom, flexibility. For me personally, it was about being able to be a great mummy and earn great money. And yet the realities of growing a small business can look like this. For the purpose of the podcast, it's someone with their hands in their head, paperwork piled high, and the overwhelm is written all over this picture. Things can get on top of us. Our to-do lists can build, and it becomes so challenging to see the wood for the trees. 1 minute we are chief sales person. The next minute we're working with clients. The next minute we are invoicing and doing the finances. Then we're doing something at home. Then we might be doing some of the cleaning. Then we're supporting family members, and we're trying to do all of the things. Well, what I want you to get from this really quick introduction of how to build a business for freedom is that you do not have to be like this. We can choose to do it a different way. So how, I want to hear you ask, how do I grow a business for freedom? And yet right now I'm feeling trapped in everything I'm doing, and ultimately creating a job for myself that doesn't pay me as much as my corporate job. I'm making some assumptions here. And it doesn't give me the holiday paycheck or the sick paycheck. I am responsible for everything. Well, you're not alone here, because I'm going to share with you an evolution of an entrepreneur. We all start as the doer of our business. So we roll our sleeves up and we get things done. And we are trying to balance the roles of so many different things. And as I was explaining before, and I share this image of me in my life where I was bouncing a baby with a bouncer with one foot, stirring a meal on the cooker with another, listening to a podcast and trying to type in a reply to an email at the same time, doing all of the things. Quite frankly, when we're in this place, there's no judgment here. Having a great freelancing job is wonderful, but when you don't work, you can't earn money. And to get true freedom, we need financial freedom, which means you don't have to do everything yourself. So we need to progress the business and we need to become the director, the CEO, that visionary, that entrepreneur that you have within you, that potential you have within you, and stop getting trapped in the weeds of your business, doing all of the things. And it's not just business. I look holistically, it's home life as well. So to become the director of our business, we need to do 4 things. We need to recognize our strengths and what we should be doing, and also what we shouldn't be doing. We need to create structure in our business, systemize things so they're not just in our heads, and then get the right support in to help us for the budget that we have. And that can start so small by outsourcing some stuff at home. I got some home help to be my initial first investment before then getting a bookkeeper. So I no longer had to do the finances of my business, and invoices would get sent without me needing to procrastinate over them, let's be honest. And if anyone here looks at that laundry or looks at the cleaning in the kitchen that needs to be done and thinks it's a lot easier just to go and do that rather than work on the business, and something that you might be a bit scared of, know that I absolutely get that. But in order to remember to progress from this job, we need to become the director. But I also recognize that knowing these steps, these practical things, is only one part of it. We can have this path laid out for you, and I could share with you exactly how to hire, exactly how to do these things. And yet, if you don't personally understand how to lead a business, our freedom blocks are going to come up. Our freedom blocks are going to show us up, and they're going to keep us small. So what do I mean by freedom blocks? Sharing what each of these 4 freedom blocks that come up. So having worked with hundreds of business owners, I see these 4 key themes come up. They try to keep us safe and they try to keep us small. Initially, it's a responsibility block. So the responsibility block is the belief that everyone else comes before yourself, and you feel so responsible. You care so much about your family, about your team members, about your clients, that you literally put what your needs and wants are for the business on the back burner and put all the emphasis on pleasing everyone else. The critical block, the belief that things have to be absolutely right to be shared, whether that's shared a new idea with your audience or whether that is sharing a task with a team member. Unless it's perfect, it's not good enough. But it can lead us into a real negative spiral where things are just never good enough and we don't take the action we need to grow our business. Thirdly, the independence block. That's the belief that we should be able to do these things ourselves. So we are that reliable person. We always get things done. No matter how long our to-do list is, we make it happen. We're dependable, but we absorb that stress and we put so much pressure on ourselves that it can easily lead to burnout. And finally, the busy block. The busy block is the belief that we have to just keep going and moving as fast as possible and not give ourselves permission to see what's really going on. This can massively affect our ability to systemize our business. And we're constantly the ones that know exactly what needs to happen. So when it comes to leading a business, well, growing a business for freedom, we know you need to step up and lead. To lead a business, it means that you need to have the personal and the practical steps, but know that one of these 4 freedom blocks might be coming up to keep you small. So next time you're thinking of growing your business, I would love you to think, is this business giving me the freedom to choose? And if not, what am I going to do about it? Handing back over to you, Dani. You're just on mute, Dani, just to let you know.
Well done. I took myself on mute because I was coughing. I didn't want to have that sound, but well done. Well done. I really, really enjoyed your presentation. And I want to share with you the profit that I got from this experience. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, guys, if you learned anything from this presentation, please put anything that you consider to be profitable. That means you had some value added to your life, something that you learned that was new that you can take away with. And I'm going to share with you. So these blocks, right? I never thought about the blocks the way that it was presented here. And I've had all of them. I probably have all of these every week. And to listen to them be presented in this way makes me a little bit more mindful about how they are actually blocking out the things that I want to do, the freedom that I want to obtain, right? Like I want to be just living my best life. I just want to be able to travel. I want things to just run smoothly for me. I want money to be coming to me easily and effortlessly, but how can it happen if I have all these blocks, right? So I'm taking that as a profit because the responsibility one is probably the biggest one. Then I would probably rate it going into into the independence one. Now, the independence one, I've learned to get help, right? And that's actually starting to free things up for me.
Right.
Because that independent thing, like, oh, no one, I got to do it by myself. But we all need to help one another. Even if the person is getting all their money and they have their own home and they just feel like they're doing it, they're the independent one. There's someone who built that house, someone who's responsible for your water. I mean, we all have to realize that we need help, even if we don't think that we do. So I want to thank you for your presentation. Thank you for participating in Dani Dividends. I also want to give you this opportunity now to express anything that you want to express without the time restraints and to share with people how they can connect with you.
Yeah, thank you. So what I didn't have time to obviously go into in this presentation is that I have a whole full freedom framework, because to me, it's about creating full freedom in your life. That's time freedom, financial freedom, and choice. That's the biggest thing for me. And to be able to get through these blocks, because you're so right, Dani, they can all come up for us at different times. There tends to be a primary one that's the biggest block to start with, a starting place, and I've got a resource for that, but they can all come up at different times, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you work on your internal leadership skills and behaviors, we're able to overcome that and put the practical thing in place to enable us to grow. So absolutely, they come up for everyone, and you're not alone with that, but there are ways that we can work through them. And what I'd love to invite your audience to do is come and take my 4-minute free quiz, which is at www.skyebarbour.com/quiz, where we can go through this like 4 minutes and we can identify the biggest block for you right now. And I give you some free training on how do we overcome this and what does this mean for you individually in way more detail than we had time for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for participating. And now we are going to be closing out the show with your self-activity statement.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer that we can all have freedom, and the freedom to choose is huge. I'd love you to decide on one thing each day, or I decide on one thing each day, what I'm going to do for myself on my terms, and give myself that choice.
Awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening, we have received a dividend from Skye Barbour, and it was definitely some profit there. I want you guys all to connect. And if you are listening for the first time, what Skye just shared with us is a self-activity statement, which is an intentional affirmation. So you're very familiar with affirmations. People talk about affirmations all the time. I am freedom. I am abundance. But what are you going to do to support your affirmation? Just like we learned in English class, we need the supporting sentences for our main idea. What is your main idea? Make sure that you support it with your intentional actions, and maybe you'll start seeing some changes in your life. Until next time, everyone, hold on to you as much as you can. Hold on to your health, your being, and your mind. Be mindful.